Waking up feeling heavy, bloated, or unusually tired, even after a full night's sleep, is something millions of Americans experience every morning and quietly ignore. But what most people don't realize is that this feeling isn't harmless. It may be the earliest warning sign that your kidneys are already under stress. I'm Dr. Richard Hale, and here's a truth that often comes too late for many patients. Kidney damage doesn't begin with pain. It doesn't announce itself with dramatic symptoms. It starts silently while you sleep. Night after night, your kidneys work non-stop to filter toxins, excess fluid, and metabolic waste from your blood. When that process slows down, even slightly, damage doesn't happen all at once. It accumulates quietly, day by day, until it suddenly becomes a serious medical problem. What makes this especially dangerous is how normal everything feels at first. The morning routine you follow without thinking, the very first drink you reach for, can either help your kidneys recover from overnight strain or slowly push them toward long-term decline. Most people never realize the difference. High blood pressure, morning swelling in the face or ankles, frequent nighttime urination, rising creatinine levels. These don't appear overnight. They're the end result of years of silent overload. And by the time many people connect the dots, kidney function has already dropped far more than they expected. But here's the part that should give you hope. You don't need expensive supplements. You don't need extreme detox programs. And you don't need to change your entire lifestyle. In many cases, one simple decision, the first beverage you drink each morning, can dramatically reduce kidney strain, support natural detoxification, and help protect these organs before irreversible damage sets in. In this video, I'll walk you through 6 specific morning teas that work with your kidneys, not against them. They're practical, science-supported, and easy to use. And one of them is almost always overlooked, despite how powerful it can be when used correctly. Let's start with the first tea, and this one surprises many people: nettle leaf tea. The reason it matters so much is because most kidney damage doesn't begin with toxins or protein overload. It begins with something far quieter and far more dangerous: chronic inflammation that never fully shuts off. I remember a patient in his early 60s who told me, "Doctor, I don't feel sick. I just wake up heavy, sluggish, like my body never fully resets overnight." His lab work didn't scream emergency, but it told a story I've seen many times: early inflammatory stress on the kidneys. Not enough to cause pain, not enough to trigger alarms, but enough to slowly reduce filtration efficiency night after night. This is exactly where nettle leaf tea becomes powerful. Nettle has been used for centuries in traditional medicine, but modern research now confirms why. It contains bioactive compounds that help reduce inflammatory signaling, which is one of the main drivers of gradual kidney decline. Studies show nettle supports antioxidant defenses and helps calm oxidative stress, a key factor in protecting delicate kidney tissue from long-term damage. What makes this especially important is timing. Overnight, your kidneys concentrate waste and excess fluid. If inflammation is already present, that morning workload becomes heavier. Drinking nettle leaf tea in the morning helps counter that process by supporting a calmer, more efficient filtration environment. Many people notice they urinate more comfortably, feel less bloated, and experience a subtle but real sense of lightness within weeks. Nettle is also rich in minerals like magnesium and iron, which support blood flow and oxygen delivery, both essential for healthy kidney function. And unlike harsh detox methods, nettle works gently. It doesn't force your kidneys to overwork. It supports them while they do what they're designed to do. Now, here's the key point most people miss. Reducing inflammation is only the first step. Think of it like loosening a tight knot. You haven't untied it yet. You've just made it possible to do so. Once inflammation comes down, another problem often becomes obvious: retained fluid and excess salt that the kidneys are still struggling to release. And this is where many people make a mistake. They stop at anti-inflammatory support and wonder why they still wake up puffy or heavy. But knowing about nettle alone isn't enough, because there's another simple tea that helps your kidneys actually let go of what they've been holding on to. And that's exactly what we're going to talk about next. Once inflammation begins to calm down, something else often becomes impossible to ignore: fluid that the body has been quietly holding on to. This is the stage where many people feel confused. They think, I'm doing the right things, so why do I still wake up puffy, or heavy, or tight in my legs? And the answer is simple. Reducing inflammation opens the door, but it doesn't automatically take the trash out. This is where parsley tea becomes surprisingly important. Most people see parsley as nothing more than a garnish, something decorative on the side of a plate. But when used as a tea, parsley acts as a natural, balanced diuretic, helping the kidneys release excess water and sodium without stripping essential minerals. I once worked with a woman in her late 50s who told me she avoided drinking much in the morning because she already felt swollen. Her ankles were tight by midday, and her rings felt uncomfortable. Lab results didn't show advanced kidney disease, but they showed inefficient fluid handling. When she added parsley tea to her morning routine, the change wasn't dramatic overnight, but within weeks she noticed less morning puffiness and easier urination. More importantly, her kidneys were no longer fighting against retained fluid all day long. From a physiological standpoint, this makes sense. Parsley contains compounds that increase urine output gently, encouraging the kidneys to flush excess water and salt, two major contributors to kidney strain and rising blood pressure. Research has shown that natural diuretics like parsley help improve urinary flow while preserving potassium balance, which is critical for kidney and heart health. This is especially important in the morning. Overnight, your body naturally retains fluid. If the kidneys don't clear it efficiently, pressure builds, not just in the tissues, but inside the kidneys themselves. Parsley tea helps reverse that process early, setting a healthier rhythm for the rest of the day. And there's another benefit most people don't expect. Parsley is rich in antioxidants, which help protect kidney cells from oxidative stress caused by processed foods, dehydration, and metabolic waste. So while it helps release fluid, it also helps shield the kidneys from ongoing damage. But here's the mistake many people make. They focus only on flushing fluid, without realizing that kidneys don't work in isolation. Releasing water is helpful, but filtration depends heavily on blood flow. If circulation is sluggish, the kidneys still struggle, no matter how much fluid you remove. And that brings us to the next tea, one that doesn't just help the kidneys drain, but helps them receive what they need most to function efficiently. Once excess fluid begins to release, many people expect their kidneys to suddenly work better. But this is where an important truth comes in. Kidneys don't filter fluids, they filter blood. And if blood flow is sluggish, thick, or inflamed, even a well-hydrated kidney struggles to do its job efficiently. This is where ginger tea becomes a quiet game changer. Ginger doesn't act directly on urine output like parsley. Instead, it improves the environment your kidneys depend on most: circulation. When blood moves more freely, oxygen and nutrients reach kidney tissue more efficiently, and waste products are carried away with far less resistance. I once had a patient who described mornings that felt foggy, not painful, not dramatic, just slow. His labs showed borderline kidney markers and signs of vascular inflammation. When ginger tea became part of his morning routine, the first thing he noticed wasn't his kidneys, it was his energy. Over time, swelling decreased, and follow-up labs showed improved inflammatory markers. The kidneys weren't being pushed harder, they were being supported. From a scientific perspective, ginger contains compounds like gingerols and shogols, which have been shown to reduce oxidative stress and inflammation, while also improving endothelial function, the health of the blood vessel lining. Studies suggest improved circulation reduces renal workload by enhancing filtration efficiency and reducing internal pressure within kidney tissue. There's another reason ginger works so well in the morning. Overnight, blood tends to thicken slightly due to reduced movement and mild dehydration. Ginger tea gently counteracts that effect, improving blood flow just as the kidneys begin their most demanding part of the day. Unlike coffee, it doesn't overstimulate or dehydrate. It supports circulation without stressing the system. Ginger also supports digestion and fluid balance, which indirectly benefits kidney function. When digestion is sluggish, metabolic waste increases. When waste increases, kidneys pay the price. By helping the gut move smoothly, ginger reduces the burden placed on renal filtration. But here's where many people stop and where progress stalls. Improving circulation helps kidneys filter better, yes, but circulation alone doesn't remove stored waste and long-term fluid retention. Many people still wake up with puffiness, tight joints, or heaviness because the body hasn't fully released what it's been holding on to. And that's the next critical step. Because once inflammation is reduced, fluid begins to move, and circulation improves, the body is finally ready for deep, gentle detoxification. And there's one specific tea that helps make that happen, but most people use it incorrectly or ignore it entirely. Once circulation improves and blood begins to move more freely, the kidneys finally have the conditions they need to work efficiently. But efficiency alone doesn't solve everything. Many people reach this point and still feel stuck, waking up puffy, heavy, or tight, as if their body is holding on to something it refuses to let go of. That's because there's a difference between filtering well and actually releasing what's been stored for too long. This is where dandelion root tea becomes essential. Not the leaves, the root. And not as a harsh cleanse, but as a gentle signal to let go. I remember a patient who told me, "Doctor, I feel like my body is holding water everywhere, especially in the morning." His labs didn't show acute kidney failure, but they did show chronic retention patterns. The kidneys weren't broken, they were overwhelmed. When dandelion root tea was added to his morning routine, the change wasn't dramatic in a day, but over several weeks, morning swelling eased, joints felt looser, and most importantly, his kidneys stopped fighting against constant internal pressure. From a physiological standpoint, dandelion root works differently than simple diuretics. It encourages urine flow while preserving electrolyte balance, which is critical for kidney safety. Research shows dandelion root supports both renal and liver detox pathways, allowing these two organs to work together instead of competing for resources. That cooperation matters more than most people realize. Overnight, your body naturally concentrates waste and fluid. If that waste isn't released efficiently in the morning, pressure builds, not just in tissues, but inside the kidneys themselves. Dandelion root helps reverse that buildup gently, without forcing the kidneys into overdrive. It also contains antioxidants that protect kidney cells from oxidative stress caused by dehydration, processed foods, and metabolic waste. Here's the key insight most people miss. Persistent fluid retention doesn't just cause puffiness, it raises internal pressure, which over time contributes to declining kidney function and rising blood pressure. By helping the body release what it no longer needs, dandelion root reduces that pressure at the source. But this is where the story takes an important turn. Even when inflammation is down, fluid is moving, circulation is improved, and detox pathways are supported, there's one silent factor that can undo all of it if left unchecked. Morning blood pressure spikes. And that brings us to the next T. Because without addressing that final pressure point, even the best kidney-supporting habits may not be enough to protect you long-term. Once excess fluid is finally released and internal pressure begins to ease, many people expect their kidneys to be out of danger. But this is where one of the most overlooked threats quietly steps in: morning blood pressure spikes. Even mild, repeated increases in blood pressure can place enormous strain on kidney tissue, especially in the early hours of the day when the kidneys are already working hardest. This is why hibiscus tea matters far more than most people realize. It's not just a colorful herbal drink. It plays a direct role in protecting the kidneys by helping regulate blood pressure at the exact time it tends to surge. I once treated a patient who did everything right. He watched his salt, stayed hydrated, and exercised regularly, yet his kidney markers continued to worsen. The missing piece turned out to be his morning blood pressure. It wasn't dangerously high, but it spiked every single morning. When hibiscus tea became part of his routine, those spikes softened. Over time, his kidney strain decreased, not because his kidneys worked harder, but because they weren't being assaulted by pressure first thing every day. Scientifically, hibiscus contains anthocyanins, powerful antioxidants responsible for its deep red color. These compounds have been shown in multiple studies to help lower systolic and diastolic blood pressure, improve vascular flexibility, and reduce inflammation. When blood vessels relax, blood flows more smoothly through the kidneys, reducing microscopic damage that accumulates over years. This matters because kidneys filter blood under pressure. When that pressure is consistently high, delicate filtering units, the nephrons, begin to scar. Hibiscus tea helps reduce that stress naturally, without forcing fluid loss or electrolyte imbalance. It also supports liver detox pathways, creating a coordinated system that keeps blood cleaner before it ever reaches the kidneys. Another reason hibiscus works so well is consistency. Its tangy, refreshing taste makes it easy to drink regularly, which is critical. Kidney protection isn't about dramatic interventions. It's about lowering daily stressors before they cause irreversible damage. However, there's an important caution. If you're already on blood pressure medication, hibiscus can amplify its effects. Used correctly, it's protective. Used carelessly, it can push pressure too low. This is why understanding the full picture matters. And here's where the story reaches a turning point. Even with inflammation reduced, fluid released, circulation improved, detox supported, and blood pressure stabilized, there's still one final factor that determines long-term kidney survival: cellular protection at the microscopic level. And that final T is so common, so familiar, that most people never suspect how powerful it actually is. After inflammation is reduced, excess fluid is released, circulation improves, detox pathways are supported, and blood pressure is finally under control. Many people assume the job is done. But this is where long-term kidney outcomes are truly decided, at the microscopic cellular level. Because kidneys don't fail all at once. They fail one tiny filtering unit at a time. This is where green tea quietly becomes one of the most powerful allies your kidneys can have. It's familiar, it's widely consumed, and because of that, it's often underestimated. But green tea doesn't work by forcing detox or flushing fluid. It works by protecting kidney cells from cumulative damage that builds over years. I once worked with a patient who told me, "Doctor, I've been drinking green tea for years, but I never thought it mattered." What changed wasn't the tea itself, it was how and why he used it. When green tea became part of a deliberate morning routine, not just a habit, his labs stabilized. Inflammatory markers improved. Kidney decline slowed. Not because green tea fixed everything, but because it protected what was still healthy. Scientifically, green tea is rich in catechins, particularly EGCG, compounds shown to reduce oxidative stress and inflammation at the cellular level. Oxidative stress is one of the main drivers of nephron damage, the tiny structures responsible for filtering blood. When those structures are exposed to repeated stress from toxins, pressure, and inflammation, they scar. Green tea helps interrupt that process. There's another critical advantage. Green tea supports cardiovascular and liver health, two systems that directly influence kidney workload. Cleaner blood entering the kidneys means less strain during filtration. Unlike coffee, green tea provides a gentle lift in alertness without dehydrating the body, which is essential for kidney protection. Timing matters here. Drinking green tea in the morning helps counter overnight oxidative stress. when the kidneys have been concentrating waste for hours. But moderation is key. 1 to 2 cups is enough. Excess caffeine, even from tea, can backfire by increasing dehydration and stress hormones. Here's the most important insight. Green tea doesn't feel dramatic. You won't notice a sudden flush or immediate relief, and that's exactly why it works. Kidney protection is about consistency, not intensity. Preserving function is often more powerful than trying to recover what's already lost. And when you step back and look at the full picture, calming inflammation, releasing fluid, improving circulation, supporting detox, stabilizing blood pressure, and protecting kidney cells, something becomes very clear. You don't need extreme measures. You need a smarter morning. And that's exactly what we're going to bring together in the final moments of this video. Before we close, I want you to remember something important. Kidney health isn't about fear. It's about awareness. And the fact that you're still watching this video tells me one thing. You care about your body, and that already puts you ahead of most people. You don't need to change everything overnight. You don't need extreme cleanses, harsh protocols, or expensive products. What truly protects your kidneys is consistency, not perfection. Simple choices, repeated daily, are what ease the burden on these organs that work for you every single hour without complaint. Start with 1 tea, 1 morning habit. Give your body time to respond. Pay attention to how you feel when you wake up. Less heaviness, less swelling, clearer energy. These small signals matter. They're often the earliest signs that your kidneys are finally getting the support they need. If this information helped you understand your body better, I encourage you to save this video so you can come back to it later or share it with someone you care about. Kidney problems often go unnoticed for years, and one conversation can make a real difference. And if you want to keep learning how to protect your kidneys naturally, I invite you to subscribe to this channel. We regularly share clear, evidence-based medical insights designed to help you take care of your kidneys, manage blood pressure, reduce silent inflammation, and protect long-term health without panic or misinformation. Most importantly, don't lose hope. Kidneys are resilient. When you reduce daily stressors and support them the right way, they often respond better than people expect. It's never too early to protect them, and rarely too late to slow damage when action is taken thoughtfully. Thank you for spending this time with me. Take care of your kidneys, and they'll take care of you for years to come.